What's up, guys? Ride with Alex back again. Hopefully it doesn't start raining on me here soon. Holy moly, what a long freaking week this was at work. I feel like nothing went right, but we handled it. Guys, I want to talk about dirt bike riding down in Georgia. Right? But I also, oh, there we go, green light. Okay. Yeah, man, dude. Georgia! I love Georgia so much. I've lived in a lot of places, and Georgia was hands down the coolest place I've ever lived. But yeah, I want to get into it real quick, man. There's a place called Dirty Dogs. But before we get to that, I kind of want to talk to you about how I got into dirt bike riding. Now, my whole life, put that visor down real quick. My whole life growing up, guys, I always wanted a freaking dirt bike for as long as I can remember. Like five or 6 years old. You know, mommy, I want a dirt bike, right? And I've always wanted one. I always thought they were so cool. And I remember, like, growing up, hey, Mom, I want a bike, and she would buy me like a mountain bike or something, right? She's like, you have a dirt bike, you can ride your bike in the dirt. No, man, I wanted a motorcycle dirt bike. And yeah, for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted a dirt bike. So I finally ended up getting a dirt bike, guys. I was in the 6th grade, and I will never ever forget my dirt biking experiences. It was the most amazing thing that I ever, you know, kind of did. So how I got it, all right? So I will be completely honest, transparent. I was absolutely horrible in school. I was probably one of the worst students in every grade until I graduated. And so I think I was like 12 years old. And we were living in Georgia at the time, right? I don't think there's a better place to own a dirt bike than Georgia. That Georgia red clay, right? And so, yeah, I was in 6th grade, and I got hit by a car, and that'll be another video too, I'm sure of it. But yeah, I ended up getting hit by a car, right? There was a lawsuit, some money came back, insurance, right? Some of that insurance money came back. And I was in a position where I was able to finally afford it, you know, my first dirt bike. And so I recovered, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, right? You don't just get a kid a dirt bike, right? There's got to be stipulations. And because I was so bad at school, and let's be clear, guys, I haven't failed a grade yet, but I think most of that was because the moving around as a military brat kind of helped me out, I think, somehow. I'm not really sure how it worked out. I probably should have failed every grade, but somehow magically it just worked out where I didn't. But we were planning on being in Georgia for probably like the next 4 years or so, right? And so I had to pass 6th grade. I had to, or I was going to be held back, and nobody wants that. So my parents, you know, took some of that insurance money, and they ended up buying me my first dirt bike, guys, and it was the coolest thing ever. It was a 125cc KLX Kawasaki dirt bike, and I remember they bought it for me about midway through 6th grade. Is that really a police car? Oh, that's the Stranger Things. That's the Stranger Things. Anyways, so like, here's the thing. We're gonna buy this dirt bike midway through the school year, but it's just gonna sit in the garage. You can't look at it, you can't touch it, you can't ride it. Just forget it's there, because you are not actually going to be given this dirt bike until you graduate 6th grade, right? So you need to buckle down. You need to buckle down. Be a man. You're in 6th grade. Be a man, right? Graduate. graduate legitimately, right, without your parents bailing you out, you gotta get your grades up. You gotta get your 6th grade grades up, right? Move on to the 7th grade, right? And so I'm like, all right, yeah, no problem. I can do this. I got this. How hard can it be to graduate 6th grade as a 6th grader? So I'm like, oh yeah, that's motivation, right? And good on my parents too for, you know, doing that, I guess. I don't know. At the time, I was like, wow, you guys kind of suck. You guys suck, man. I'm the one that got hit by the car. I deserve this dirt bike. But I get where they're coming from now. But at the time, I was like, wow, really? Really? I almost wanted to start researching, like, how do I get out of this agreement? Like, how do I not be, like, how do I make you guys not my parents anymore? There's a word for it, right? I don't know. Abandonment? I don't know. Emancipate? Yeah, that's it. I'm like, how do I get emancipated? Because all I need is that dirt bike, and I'm good. I don't need a house. I don't need parents to feed me, right? I'm like 12, dude. And there's a dirt bike in the garage that I have zero access to, and I'm just going to get emancipated at this point because that's all I need. That's how excited I was for getting this dirt bike. So, yeah, they're like, graduate 6th grade, and this bad boy right here is all yours. And that motivation to graduate 6th grade, it probably lasted maybe like 4 days. Like, for 4 days, my teacher saw like a huge improvement in my academics. Like, maybe 5 days. But on that 5th day, it ran out. I'm like, this is bullshit, man. I got hit. Like, that's my bike. It's already bought. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, they're not going to return it, right? Like, there's no way. It's like, it's in the garage. You can't just return a dirt bike like you're going to go, like, return a t-shirt. So I started, you know, just like this, honestly, I just was like, nah, that's mine, dude. And I stopped caring. But we'll go ahead and fast forward. I somehow magically passed the 6th grade with like straight D's, and that was it, man. As soon, like, it's like 2 weeks after school ended, right? We're 2 weeks into summer, and I get the news that I'm moving on to the 7th grade, and it like, just like a video game, right? It unlocked the dirt bike for me. Right? I ranked up to the next level. Boom. That was it. That was it. I was never home. And what was really cool about where we lived at the time is I had a buddy named Philip, and he lived just down the road from us. But in his backyard, like a bunch of like bow hunters, or I don't know, maybe it was bows. I guess the weapon of choice doesn't really matter. But there was some hunters that owned several acres of property in his backyard, and they let us ride, you know, like he had a 4-wheeler at the time, and they let us ride our 4-wheelers and dirt bikes back there while they weren't practicing hunting. And that's all it was too. They didn't actually hunt on that property. They just had a bunch of like fake deer and whatever, fake turtles, whatever people shot back then. They just had like a bunch of like mannequins back there, and they would practice. So they were hardly ever there. And they were like, yeah, man, freaking come back here and ride whenever you want. We got no problem with it, but just know if we are here, like, it's our property. I don't need you guys, I don't need you kids tearing up the trails that I allowed you to create while we're practice shooting. And that's totally cool. We were down with that. And that was basically 6 days a week. They were only there like every once in a while they were there. So yeah, man, I got my dirt bike. I passed 6th grade. I'm learning how to ride for the first time. Within like a month, I'm doing wheelies, right? We're building jumps back there. Dude, it was kick freaking ass, man. You couldn't ask for a better, you know, for a better childhood, really. 12 years old with a dirt bike and just absolute freedom. And that's kind of what got me into motorcycles. I was hooked. I was addicted. I was so addicted right then and there. What up, Dad? Shit. So, yeah. So what I really wanted to get to was, you know, like, let's say like a year went by. my dad saw how much fun I was having on the dirt bike. And my dad has rode motorcycles in the past too. He was actually in a really, really bad motorcycle wreck, and so he stopped riding. This was probably 6 or 7 years prior to this time in my life. But yeah, no, my dad was like, you know, I kind of want to get in on this. Let's do this, man. Like, I want to be a part of my son's life. Well, you know, and I want to be a part of, you know, my son's life, but I want to do what he likes to do too with him. So my dad ended up going to the dirt bike dealership down in Georgia, and he got himself like a 230, I believe it was. Yeah, it was a 230 CRF Honda. You know, a bigger boy's bike. And he went and got himself a dirt bike, and he found this place down in Georgia called Dirty Dogs. And this was the first time ever that I actually rode my dirt bike like on a legit course. And this place, Dirty Dogs, was the freaking shiz-niz, man. Like, you pull in and it's just acres upon acres upon acres of land. And the cool thing about this place, Dirty Dogs, was, right, so you pull in, there's like a huge parking lot, you take your bikes off the trailer, and then there's like a main road. And on this main road, you had, you know, every mile or two was like a trail that you can pull off to, and you had like your off-roading trails, right? Which is what we had at the time. We didn't have any motocross bikes. We both had what you would consider like an off-road bike. And so we were exploring the trails, right? You go down this road, you cut off, you go down a trail, it leads you right back to the main road, and then you go to another trail. And some were more advanced than others. We didn't care. We really didn't care. We'd go to the most advanced one. Like, why not, dude? Just like the kayakings, right? You don't need experience, just send it. And we did. We sent it. So yeah, so we're at Dirty Dogs, we're mud bogging, you know, we're climbing trails and cliffs and rocks and doing crazy shit all day, being adventurous. Well, what we both didn't know is once you got to the end of this road that had the trails on it, when you get to the very end, there's like an actual motocross track, guys. Like a legit track, at least to me at that point in time. Like supermoto. It was like, you know, it was a track that had big jumps, huge jumps, then small jumps, and you take a turn and it had like the, you know, you ride it on your wheel. It was like a racetrack, like a supercross racetrack. But if you're riding that road, the road turns into this motocross track. And it was the first time we were ever there, right? And I'm on my 125 KLX. I'm trying to keep up with my dad. I'm doing like top speed for whatever the top speed is on a bike like that. I can't imagine it's that much, maybe like 40, 50 miles an hour. And we get to the end of the road and I see this hill. And all I think it is just a hill. I don't know, really, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like 12. But I see this huge hill. And I'm like, oh yeah, man, fifth gear, straight line. And I hit that fucker as fast as my bike would go, for some reason thinking that there was just nothing but fluffy clouds and pillows at the end of it, right? So I hit that bitch. And I went fucking flying, guys. Flying. And my dad was behind me, and he described it to me too. He was like, dude, I saw you go up the hill, I saw you in the air, and then you just disappeared. My dad wasn't as stupid as I was. He saw the hill and he slowed down naturally. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna just send this. I want to slow down, go up the hill slowly and see what's on the other side. Long story short, it wasn't a hill. No, it wasn't. It was part of the motocross track. I sent that shit, guys, and I went absolutely flying. And I don't even know how to explain it to you, right? So there was the jump that I hit at max speed at 12 years old. I jumped over the entire fucking motocross track because the hill, you know, the way it was supposed to be rode is you hit the jump and then it turns, and I hit the fucking hill and went sideways, like to the left, like off the track. And around the track was like this, I don't know, maybe 8-9 foot trench around the track that, you know, kind of, it looks like it just kind of got washed out by rain. I landed directly into this trench. I didn't land next to it. I didn't clear the fucking trench. I went up, landed in the trench, and somehow magically when I did land in the trench, I was no longer on top of my dirt bike. Somewhere between me hitting that jump and being in the air, I went off my dirt bike, went underneath my dirt bike, and then I landed in the trench, and then my dirt bike landed on top of me. And there was no sliding. I mean, it was a complete stop. I'm in a hole. And so my dad is still at the bottom of the fucking jump. He still hasn't even made his way up it to see what was on the other side. So whenever he finally did make his way up to the top of it and kind of rode back down it, yeah, all he saw was an empty motocross track, and I was nowhere to be seen. He had no clue where I was at. And also, guys, my bike stalled out while it was on top of me, like, so he couldn't even hear like the dirt bike. He just thought I was gone. So this is kind of how he described it. Like, he went over the hill, he saw that I was nowhere in existence, but he could hear like a faint, like, help, help. And that's me with a dirt bike on top of me in a fucking hole somewhere that I landed in. And so thank God he heard that, and he you know, he rushed over, and he looked down in the hole and just started freaking laughing hysterically. And he was, you know, like what the fuck? And so my dad reaches down to this hole and he pulls my dirt bike out from on top of me, and then he throws it off to the side, and then he pulls me out, and he's like, "Are you okay? Are you good? Like, are you whole?" And the only thing that I can think of at that point in time was I looked down at my boot, and I had steel toe boots on, and I looked down and there was a dent at the toe of my boot, and I'm like in freaking shock, right? I can't think clearly. The only thing that I was concerned about was the dent in my boot. So my dad's like, "Are you okay, dude?" And I'm like, "There's a dent in my boot, Dad. Dad, a dent in my boot." He fucking died of laughter. He's like, "Are you serious right now? That's all you can think of is the dent in your boot?" Guys, I was in shock. And that basically capped off the day. We're like, okay, we're done. You just landed in a fucking trench, and you just hit like a 20-foot jump at max speed. You're in shock. Like, we're going home, dude. Guys, take a guess on how many times we went back to Dirty Dogs. 0. Absolutely 0. That was the last time we ever went there again. Which is unfortunate. I mean, it really wasn't my choice. It would just, you know, it never kind of worked out where we could go back. But if I can go anywhere at all right now at 30, I kind of want to go get a dirt bike and to go back to Dirty Dogs and just give it one more chance. But I also don't think that I could even hold up. Like, at 30, like, yeah, I'm young, I'm 30, but I'm old. I feel old. But I would like to go back to that place. That was so cool, man. So yeah, my dad ended up buying that dirt bike. We did one little trip to Dirty Dogs, and I don't think he ever rode it again since. That ended up just being my upgrade, right? That was my dirt bike after that. And yeah, we kept it safe in Philip's backyard for the duration of my dirt bike career. So that's something I wanted to talk about. I've been thinking about talking about that for a while now. I just haven't really had a chance to get out here when it was nice outside, and it was nice when I left. I think it's gonna rain on me here soon. But yeah, Dirty freaking Dogs, man, in Georgia. That place is the shiz freaking niz. And that was the first time I ever really caught some true air. Didn't stick the landing though. I retired the KLX 125 shortly after that, and I just took my dad's dirt bike, and he ended up getting deployed anyway, so yeah, that was my bike. But yeah, Other than that, guys, good day at work, man. Saturday, right? Get some OT in. It was honestly, it was a perfect day at work, and towards the end there, we did have a little bit of an issue with the machine breaking down, but you know, that's what they say, right? If the day is going too good, then it's too good to be true. Something's gonna happen, and it did. And I guess I'll tell you about that for a second, right, while I wrap this up. But yeah, I deliver equipment for a living, and I dropped off the skid steer and I ended up blowing one of the main hydraulic lines, and oh, that was a freaking mess, dude. And you know, it was like the last hour before I was about to go home, which is, it makes it worse, right? You get a little worked up. But did the rescue, got the machine back, got them a new one, right? Those guys can, you know, continue to work throughout the weekend and get done what they got to get done, and I got that broken machine back, and that's all that really matters, right? We'll figure it out. It's over. It's just work. But yeah, I really enjoyed filming this video. I enjoyed getting the bike out on a Saturday, and yeah, like I said, this is so much fun to me. This is all I really want to do. This is a good freaking time right here, and I hope that I get more, you know, free time in the future to do more of this. Put them videos out there. But yeah, I'm glad that I got to tell you guys about my dirt bike dirty dogs experience. That's pretty fun right there. So I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. Thank you for watching. It's Ride with Alex. You guys have a good weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. I hope it's a good weekend. Hopefully I can do some, you know, a little bit more videos in the future. So that's it for today, guys. I'm going home. I'm gonna go eat some dinner. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you want, like if you want, comment if you want. Give me a subject, man. Don't be shy. See you guys. I will see you on the next one.